I feel very strongly European, and I've always been so grateful that I could live in this country. Nobody would these days question that anymore, and that we can live gladly together.
As a European.
As a European, yes. And I always felt I wanted to thank people for that. And so as the centenary of World War One was approaching, I felt for a long time, at that time, I must create an artwork which is a monument to peace. And really, having the oaks and Boyce, for me, who was one of the most important pacifists in the world ever, felt this gives us a good reason.
So the Lightwood is probably, arguably, the most important artwork created in Scotland after the death of Boyce, but honouring his or continuing his work. The theme of peace, reconciliation, unification, a world without borders is a fantastic theme. And so this very fragile natural woodland is giving me personally hope. And I feel, how can I say, blessed that I find myself here today. I've sought out places like this all my life. And all my journeys, all my travels have been to find places like this. And they are more important than galleries. They're perhaps more important than art schools. And maybe if you think about an art school, it should be in this kind of environment so that you know that there are trees and plants, that the power of nature is in control. So I feel, obviously, when I think of what's happening here, the wind and the light and the extraordinary range of trees, I'm thinking of Black Mountain College, which was in this kind of environment, on a farm, in a woodland. And the artists who studied there were inspired by nature. So I never understand why art schools are in an urban environment where there's no possibility of knowing the seasons of the year. You can ignore them. You can close the door of the building and forget about what's happening outside. This space here, which is nature, has been, how can I say, acknowledged as part of our future work in saving the planet.
You know, in Boyce's Oaks in Castle,
Yeah.
he had the black basalt. And that actually, I always thought, because he visited Fingal's Cave and he visited Scotland, the basalt is quite present here, and it connected him to the Celtic world.
Yes.
And so he put the black basalt next to the oaks, and in time, the basalt sinks into the ground.
That's right.
Yeah? And Caroline Wendling, she took this as inspiration and did the opposite. She put the white stones into the ground, almost like coffins or something.
Yeah.
And then, in the time, as the basalt is growing down, these stones will go up. What do you think you would think about it?
I think you would love it. Because,
It takes about the same time.
yeah, the reason for the stone is, you know, there's a kingdom of plants where the trees belong, but there's also the kingdom of stones. The stone is evolving from an older time space than the tree. When it cools, it takes the form of hills and plants and earth, and then you have nature. I would say that he would like to think that this is a Scottish European environment, a European environment with a Scottish dimension. You'd be very happy about that because he loved Scotland, he loved the landscape, and he loved the fact that in the history of the Celts in Scotland, there was a great respect for the oak tree.
Yes.
So that meant that all over the Celtic world, especially in Scotland and in Ireland, there were people called Druids. Now, the Druid, by the very name, Druid, is he or she who has the respect and love and understanding of the oak.